One, two, three. Welcome to the latest episode of Tyler Makes, my video series on making video games. One of the hardest parts about indie game development is staying focused and on track. There are so many game ideas that I have. Staying locked into the one that I want to build is sometimes difficult. It's easy to get sidetracked. So I've done a lot of different things in the past couple weeks, and I'm going to intersperse a few of those here. I modeled a humanoid character. He's this weird robot-looking thing, and I animated it and imported it into Unreal so I can actually use it. I'm having a couple issues figuring out how to skin it and texture it, which is where you make the skin of the character look real. But I've got it modeled, animated in-game, and I've learned a lot about the process of building assets and importing them. So that was really great. I've been experimenting with Unity, an alternative to Unreal Engine, and I found that Unity is much easier to get into. It's pretty cool and simple to get a lot done. However, it's not necessarily as feature-rich as Unreal, and I'm enjoying going back and forth between the two systems and kind of comparing and contrasting them. While testing Unity, one of the things that I worked on was a tutorial on environment design. It's a really interesting tutorial that an independent game developer put out that's all about how one of the best things you can do if you have limited resources is to create a unique environment, because that's what will really make your game stand out. Whereas a lot of people focus on little details and trying to make some small details very highly rendered, they miss the bigger picture, which is atmosphere, which really gives your game a feeling of place and makes it feel like something very different from everything else out there. I recently went to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter with my girlfriend and her sister. It is completely guarded from the rest of the theme park, and the result is that it feels like a completely different place, like you've stepped into a different world. I was reflecting on that and realizing the best video games that I've played all do that. They have this feeling of when you get into them that you are in a different world. It has its own rules, it has its own look, everything is, in some way unique to this world and slightly askew from what you're used to, but it's all consistent and it has that greater feeling. And so that's something that I've been exploring, doing that in a game, giving it a completely different environmental feel so that your game has this kind of consistency throughout it. I also have been looking at picking up a little bit of contract work in game development because I found that when you're trying to learn something, one of the best ways is to actually direct it at a real project. And so I've been trying to find a couple of little projects to help people with or contract work that I can pick up. And in that vein, I've been exploring VR. I've had the Oculus Dev Kit 1 for a very long time and haven't really played around with it much, but I've been breaking it out now. It seems that VR is the big thing right now, so there's a lot of contract work out there and to get in on the ground floor of VR. Hopefully in the next few videos I'll have some neat little displays I can show you in VR. In fact, I've been thinking about making some simple tests and stuff and releasing them, and I might do that with some VR experiments. In addition to that, I've been talking to a couple of different developers and trying to find projects that I can help people out on. I've picked up a couple of small projects. This is the game that I've picked up as a side project. I joined up with a small team. They built all the assets you see here, the whole arena and the characters that are in it. My job is to make it actually function as a game. I'm controlling the AI and determining when these creatures get spawned and how they move. Currently, what they do is they wander around, and then if they see me, they try to chase me down. Eventually, this will turn into the code that makes them follow the player and attack the player, as well as giving the player the ability to fight back. So I've started on that, and there will definitely be more of that in future videos. Back to my main project, the big one that I've been working on. One of the reasons I swapped to Unity was that I was experimenting with the network communications possibilities in Unreal versus Unity. In some ways, Unity is much easier, being built off of C# and JavaScript as underlying programming languages. There's a lot of simple modern tools for handling network communications. I experimented with setting those up. They were really easy in Unity. They were actually much easier than they were in Unreal. So I've been looking at maybe making my major project in Unity. I'm still going to continue to use both engines, but it's important for me to know both engines. But I may make my current project in that. And so I've got a new prototype that's being built in that. Here is the app that I've begun working on. The walls here move up and down randomly, but in the actual app, what will happen is that I'll be in this sort of maze, and people who are watching the stream will be able to send commands that make the walls go up and down. There will also be other things I'm going to add later where other commands will trigger other dangers, and my goal is to be able to get through the dangers that the people who are watching are controlling. So it's almost like a Hunger Games type of thing. So here's what it looks like from the top, and here's what it looks like from inside. I'll be running around here watching out for these walls and all the myriad dangers that lie behind them. And I'm hoping to rig that up soon so that people can come and watch on Twitch and mess around with the game environment that I've built. And that's where the network communication comes in. So somebody who's watching on Twitch can jump in the chat channel and throw in commands, and it'll affect the world in which they see on the stream, which is that game world that I've built. That's what I've been working on. As I said, and you can probably gather from this video, it's been hard to stay on track, trying to figure out what to do and what would be best. But I've made a lot of good progress. I've learned about modeling and animating and importing assets into Unreal and Unity, and I've jumped into the network communications on both Unreal and Unity, as well as animation and AI systems that are built into Unreal. So I've learned a lot in the past few weeks, and I'm just going to keep continuing to build upon that. I really hope to cement some smaller pieces of my eventual project that I want to build and kind of package those up and put them out there so that I can share them with you. So look out for that and have a great day. Bye.